Hi, John Rayton, founder, CEO of E-Powersport.com, and I wanted to come to you today to talk about battery packs and go over some of the battery packs that we have. As you can see, I have them laid out here on the floor, and explain to you about how you can check these for basically what kind of cells they have, but more so their overall capacity and ability. You can verify how many amps and essentially how many volts and stuff it has in it. So we'll go over that here in a few minutes, as well as address some people's concerns about what they call Chinese cells, which I really don't think that's the appropriate term. I mean, really, and we'll talk about that as well. But one thing I did want to bring up is that we are currently looking for some serious seed investment for one of the projects we have that we're setting up. It is something that we're going to be looking for either accredited investors or qualified purchasers for to get in and help us with the startup phases. But if that's you, if you're interested, go ahead and get in touch with me, and we'll go over things and get you some more information on that. Back to batteries though, as you can see, I pulled out a few different packs here from the various bikes that we have in the garage. This battery pack right here, so this battery pack, as you can see, is says an e-bike battery, 48 volt, 14.5 amp hour. 18650 are the cell types. So there's a few different types of cells that you'll find in most e-bike battery packs. Usually they use an 18650, which is a longer standing design, very similar cylindrical design, very similar to a AA battery. Some of the other ones, which have a higher capacity, will have 21700s. They are a slightly larger battery, and therefore they have more ability to hold charge. So those are the two main types. If you're lucky, maybe somebody got hold of some of Tesla's new batteries and you have some super batteries, but other than that, those are the two main types you're going to find. Now, within those types, there are different grades of battery. So you may have one that's an 18650 battery, but it's a lower grade and has less capability to hold a charge and has a lower, what they call ampacity, or its amps that it can hold. So I know a lot of people have questioned the, well, not a lot, one person actually, on a forum, questioned one of our current customers. Hey Frank, thanks, appreciate you pointing this out. Asking him to literally take this battery pack apart. This is the battery pack out of one of our Vinkfors, and open the cells up to verify that they were actually Samsung cells. And I understand where that person is coming from, but at the same time, please do not open these battery packs and begin unwrapping these just to show to somebody they're what they say they are. That's the quickest way to blow yourself up. If you are not, or hurt yourself, if you don't know what you're doing when it comes to working with these battery packs, don't open them. All right, please take them to a professional, somebody that does battery pack builds. I'm sure there's about one in every city at this point, and so go talk with them about it and make sure you get a professional to take a look at these. Some of the packs here, as you can see, are very different. As I pointed out, we have this one from our Pasolec. This is the 18650 battery pack. This one, it uses Samsung cells, which are known to have a high capacity, and so it can be a little smaller while having a relatively similar amp hour capability as this one. So this comes in at a little over 12 amp hours. This one comes in at 14. That means that this can use fewer cells to get that higher capacity. And if you see, the size, there's obviously quite a few more cells in this one versus this one. This one right here is a pretty common type of battery. It has what's it, 8 amp hours. This also uses the 18650 cells, but it's a lot lighter, and you can tell that it's like this half right here doesn't even feel like it's used. So the weight of this battery is all up in here, and it's using a few cells to get you that 36 volt and 8 amp hour capacity. Whereas you could buy this same battery pack with more cells in it, a higher amp hour, higher voltage, and higher capacity, right? We move on to these. These are pretty standard. This one's pretty beat up. We actually broke the power port on this. Still works though. It's a great battery. This one comes in at 13 amp hours. It also uses the 18650 cells. It goes on a few of the different Pasolec units, and you can get these all the way up to, I think, 18 amp hours with the right cell types in them. So that brings us to the next thing. I mean, this one goes on our mountain bikes. This one's pretty heavy. It's 17.5 amp hour. Yeah, 17.5 at 48 volt. So pretty solid, pretty hefty battery pack, pretty densely put in there. That is most likely, no, I think to get to 21 amp hours, you have to replace that with the 21700s. And then we have our contacts one. This is pretty straightforward. I mean, the cells are going to be aligned up and down, pretty flat. This comes in at about 13. It's 12.75 amp hours. So, and it runs really well. It's actually a good set of cells. And we have our blue packs. These come in are E-Enduros. These are kind of the next stage up from these. As you can see, it has a very different connector type. These Anderson connectors. These are high amperage, high voltage, and this charge connector, the D types. These carry a good amount of power as well for charging. So this battery pack here is weird. Sometimes the GoPro just decides it wants to shut off for no reason. Battery's fine. It's not hot. It's just, hey, you know what? We're done. It's like, okay. But yeah, what I was saying is these battery packs are well made. I'm going to default to they are made with the cells they say they are, because if they were made with what you are calling a cheaper cell, right, or a less capacitive cell, they wouldn't have the same amount of power for their size. They would need to be much heavier. They would need to contain a lot more cells. And so you can really understand by its size and weight how much it has and the quality of the cell contained inside it. Other than that, I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to the verification testing we've been doing and going over the quality of work and showing you as a consumer how good these things actually are. Yeah, so I think that as we move forward and we do more of this and you see more of the quality product come out, your faith will be not just maybe restored, but hopefully solidified for your purchases of these types of things. So thanks for your time. Hopefully you guys learned something. Oh, I guess I should talk about battery maintenance, but that could be a whole other video. Really, there's a lot of great videos out there on that stuff. We can get into it too. I know some people want to talk about it, but really I wanted to address the view of these battery packs not being what they say they are and how you can verify that, you know, really. Really easy, simple ways to do it. And if you just flat out don't trust certain people or certain products or companies, you know, buy it somewhere else. It's really that simple. But as a lot of you have learned probably from watching our stuff, you know, the Vinkfer is the same as all those other bikes you find out there that are of the same design type. They're most likely coming out of one of, I think it's 2 or 3 factories now that actually produce them, and they're made with usually high quality cells, which is a big chunk of the cost. Same with the Pasolec G9 series of those, the contacts as well. Those are also made with some pretty good high volume cells. They're 13 amp hour, pardon me, 12.8 on this one, 12.75 amp hour, rated capacity. So, and they're actually really nice. I mean, they're really well made. This is a good, easy. I have some other battery packs and stuff as well, different types. But yeah, I haven't had any issues with these. They have, most of them all have some type of BMS or thermal protection or switch. These even have fuses in them. Yeah, so there's just lots of ways that they are safety protected. Definitely keep them away from moisture as well as excessive heat or excessive cold, like anything else. Essentially anything you wouldn't want your phone exposed to, you probably don't want these exposed to too much. You know, they are susceptible to heat and cold, just like everything else. But yeah, otherwise, really solid. Haven't had any issues. If you have any questions, get in touch. Let you know.